exposing these people is very important. It's not to sensationalize them, it is to expose them, to shine the light of day on them. People can't deny this is what's going on. They can't deny that the folks who are involved with Christian ministries pointing out the working of these United Nations, Satanist, Luciferian factions and their rituals is going on. People can't deny it once we expose it. You just will not see this on the mainstream media because their job is to distract and not to inform. And what we're doing here, the free alternative Christian media, is exposing, shining the light, getting the information out there so you can do your own research and verify what we're talking about.
Sometimes you get a headache that hurts so bad you can feel it throb, hear it pound, see it tighten. What you want is a wonder drug with the power to put pain in its place. Maximum Bayer. 2 tablets contain 1,000 milligrams of Bayer power, and it's got the Tolerate micro-coating. No caffeine. Maximum Bayer aspirin. Try finding something stronger for your headache. No way, no how. Bayer, the wonder drug that works wonders.
Call your doctor if you have high fever, stiff muscles, and confusion to address a possible life-threatening condition, or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these could become permanent. High blood sugar has been reported with Abilify and medicines like it. In some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death. Other risks include decreases in white blood cells, which can be serious, dizziness upon standing, seizures, trouble swallowing, and impaired judgment or motor skills.
There is a sickness inside us, rising like the bile that leaves that bitter taste at the back of our throats. It's there in every one of you seated around the table. Only when we know what ails us can we hope to find the cure.
What do you make of that?
Clearly he's lost his mind.
Our thoughts exactly.
We'd like you to go to Switzerland and bring Mr. Pembroke back to us.
What we offer here is a process of purification, away from the pressures of the modern world.
You plan to take Mr. Pembroke back with you?
Is that a problem?
He's a patient, not a prisoner.
You here for the cure?
No. Actually, I was just leaving.
No one ever leaves.
Welcome back, Mr. Lockhart.
Signs of concussion, depleted immune system. I would like to recommend a treatment.
Think of it as a cleansing of the mind, as much as the body. Some patients experience visions. But rest assured, it's just the toxins leaving the system.
What's happening to me? It's all part of the cure.
There is no cure!
It's wonderful here.
Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Talk to your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems, which can get worse while taking Chantix. Some people can have allergic or serious skin reactions to Chantix, some of which can be life-threatening. If you notice swelling of face, mouth, throat, or a rash, stop taking Chantix and see your doctor right away. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual, or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Chantix should not be taken with other quit smoking products.
You convince the other parents out there that we need to do this.
Careful, I'm going to get it.
Yes.
If that helps at all, but I'll tell you, my wife is not going to immunize her kids. Because I've got 4 of them, and when I go home, I'm not Dr. Oz, I'm Mr. Oz. And my wife is not going to immunize her kids.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. If your child had a cough, she'd get just what the doctor orders. You know what? I make a lot more money if I take this kid's tonsils out.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
If there's a blue pill and a red pill, and the blue pill is half the price of the red pill and works just as well, why not pay half price?
Trusted the scientists back in 1976 with the original swine flu shot, and a lot of people got sick. Right. Not only that, some people died, some people were paralyzed. From the shot itself. And people remember the swine flu vaccine as a terrible disaster.
But this is one time. Forget the conspiracy. Listen to our government agencies. These guys are telling the truth. You know, there's no conspiracy here, folks. Just get your damn vaccine.
Don't take Amatiza if you've ever had a bowel obstruction or have severe diarrhea. Women of childbearing age should have a negative pregnancy test and practice effective birth control due to the potential risk to the fetus. Talk to your doctor to evaluate the risks. In clinical studies, the most common side effects were nausea, diarrhea, and headache. Tell your doctor if you experience severe diarrhea or severe nausea.
Aricept is well tolerated, but not for everyone. People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicines should tell their doctors because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may get worse. Some people may experience fainting, some people may have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bruising, or not sleep well. Some people may have muscle cramps or loss of appetite or may feel tired. In studies, these were usually mild and temporary.
We need a cure! We need a cure!
Why, the only cure is bed rest. Anything I give you would only be a placebo.
Where do we get these placebos?
President Donald Trump is continuing to routinely tout the anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine as a potential COVID-19 treatment across social media and in White House press briefings. That's despite his own experts saying there's no strong evidence that the drug is effective. This mixed messaging came to a head during a press conference over the weekend, when Trump blocked Dr. Anthony Fauci from answering a question about hydroxychloroquine.
But I think people should, if it were me, in fact, I might do it anyway. I may take it.
Maybe there's some in this truck. I'm cured. I mean, ouch.
Okay? I may take it. And I'll have to ask my doctors about that, but I may take it.
Mom. Do not take Balsamra if you have narcolepsy. When taking Balsamra, don't drive or operate heavy machinery until you feel fully awake. Walking, eating, driving, or engaging in other activities while asleep without remembering it the next day have been reported. Balsamra should not be taken together with alcohol. Abnormal behaviors may include aggressiveness, confusion, agitation, or hallucinations. The temporary inability to move while falling asleep or waking up and temporary leg weakness have also been reported. In depressed patients, worsening depression, including risk of suicide, may occur. Alcohol may increase these risks. Side effects include next-day drowsiness.
24 hours to go. I wanna be sedated. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. I wanna be sedated.
You know, the more I look into these movies and the esoteric occultic symbols and New World Order propaganda themes in the background, I am just convinced that the plans of the devil himself, the dragon, are going to be fulfilled very, very soon, and we are being telegraphed this on a regular basis. So what I like to do is show you some screenshots from the trailer itself, and then hopefully back it up by some information from the web, and hopefully it'll help you to see some of these things, and it will confirm some things that you may have been seeing yourself. And you know, I do not claim to have all the answers. I learn from you as well, so I just love the fact that we can all learn together. So as we look at what IMDb says about this movie, it describes it as an ambitious young executive is sent to retrieve his company's CEO from an idyllic but mysterious wellness center at a remote location in the Swiss Alps, but soon suspects that the spa's miraculous treatments are not what they seem. And as we keep going, it says further down here that he soon suspects that the spa's miraculous treatments are not what they seem. Sorry to repeat myself there. When he begins to unravel its terrifying secrets, his sanity is tested as he finds himself diagnosed with the same curious illness that keeps all the guests here longing for the cure. So already red flags are going up in me, where why would you have to rescue someone from a spa? Normally a person would go to a spa for a place of rest and relaxation, but here they have to be rescued. He's also finding himself diagnosed mysteriously with the same illness that other people are being diagnosed with in this place. So are they undergoing some kind of change? Are they being experimented on? And it's putting them in an ultimate dependence on some particular cure. Okay, and even as we look at some of these screenshots, let's just take a look right now. The trailer starts off with people looking into some water tank, and the doctor says to the person who supposedly is in there, saying, "Are you ready, Mr. Lockhart?" So what is he getting ready for? What are they getting ready to do to him? And as you go to the next scene, it shows this person, Mr. Lockhart, in the water. There's major duality going on here, as above, so below. We know that the water is an element of Wicca, of the pagan religion of witchcraft, Wicca. And, the person, Mr. Lockhart, nods that he is ready. So you can see, again, the as above, so below, the duality themes, and, coming out of the water, all this kind of stuff happening. We can see later on that there's a person above the tank that Mr. Lockhart is in, and to me this could symbolize looking into the pit, into Satan's baptismal tank. And as I saw this, it reminded me of the movie The Matrix, when Neo was unplugged from the Matrix, and of course there was a machine that was sent in to grab him out of the water, out of the pit. Was it his rebirth into a new world, okay, which I believe is being shown in this movie as well. All right, and even as we look at why we're being shown this baptismal tank, or this whole thing about water and bathtubs and all this kind of thing, I found an interesting article on the Illuminati Watcher, and it talks about this whole thing about the water and the bathtub, and how traditionally the bathtub is meant to symbolize the cleansing of one's sins, as in a baptism. And in this article we'll cover some of the occult origins of water, rain, and the infamous bathtub that we see so often. All right, so you can see so many things are associated with this water and bathtub. Water has always been revered as a source of life, and therefore rain has been on the forefront of mankind's traditional desires for crops and sustaining life. Some may be shocked to know that Satan also uses rain to possess others and even accept human sacrifices. Okay, and we see this even more so, as it turns out, by the evidence I presented in that book. It all ties into Moloch from the times of antiquity, when the ancient Babylonians would sacrifice infants to this deity. Okay, so we know that Moloch is basically Baphomet, Satan himself. This horned deity is worshipped for the purposes of providing rain for his followers, since the rain was necessary to water crops and sustain life in those early days of civilization. The theory that water has a satanic component is found in the Mormon faith, where there was once an urban legend that Satan had dominion over the waters. Some LDS Mormons wouldn't go swimming because of this idea, but modern day followers don't adhere to it. Reminds me of things like Poseidon, King Triton, Dagon, all this kind of fish god, water god nonsense. In alchemy, the symbol for water is an inverted triangle. Water symbolizes intuition and emotion, and in alchemy, it is represented by the planet Mercury when used in formulas. Okay, so you'll see all this kind of stuff, this whole crescent moon nonsense, all this thing going on with Mercury. Okay, it's also, used in Wicca symbols, the elements of air, water, fire, earth, and ether. All this kind of thing. Okay, in Wicca, the religion inspired largely by Aleister Crowley. These are the symbols, so you can see that the upside down triangle is water. In Wicca, the element of water is also represented with an inverted triangle and denotes the subconscious, where symbols communicate to us. Okay, that's where they want to embed all this symbolism. The practitioners of Satanism believe that inverted images has symbolic meaning, which is why you see them inverting crosses. They seek to reverse the power of the original intent on the symbol. Okay, so really we can see that this water is a big theme. Water, bathtubs, rebirth, all this kind of thing is a big theme in the Illuminati, in the occult. Okay, again, we saw this in The Matrix. Of course, many of us remember the recent music video by Katy Perry, Rise, how she's coming out of the water, typically symbolizing victory, but it's not a victory for humanity. It's really a victory of the devil, where she's basically being rebirthed into something else.
Gender dysphoria is a condition where a person's physical, biological sex is one, say a boy, but in the person's mind they think they're really a girl, or vice versa. It's not something that you can identify on any objective test. You can't do a blood test, for example. You can't do MRI imaging. You can't do genetic testing to actually find this gender identity. My name is Dr. Michael Laidlaw. I'm an endocrinologist in Rockland, California. This gender identity, which is really a child saying, I believe I'm this, I believe I'm a boy, I believe I'm a girl, something opposite of their body. Once they say that, they go down this road of gender affirmative therapy. That consists of social transition, wearing, say, stereotypical clothes of the opposite sex to pretend that they're the opposite sex, then these puberty blockers, then these cross-sex hormones, and then finally surgical modifications to the body to try to make the person appear that they're the opposite sex. Puberty blockers are powerful hormones. They act on a small gland in the brain called the pituitary, and this controls the sex organs. For example, testicles make testosterone, ovaries make estrogen, and the pituitary controls that happening. Now, these blockers stop this action, and then whereas, say, a girl is in age 9 and continuing or beginning to develop in puberty and should continue on until a full adult woman, it's stopped. Once you stop it, there are various harms and problems that occur afterwards. Unfortunately, many of our professional organizations are advocating for this, including Endocrine Society. And it's important to bear in mind that there's very small groups of people controlling these societies. Small groups of people are making these pronouncements, and then when physicians want to turn to what's the best practice, they're finding these things. And there's no rigorous research done, there's no controlled studies. It's very poor research, but it's, I guess, politically correct to go down these roads by these organizations. Doctors will feel compelled to follow what their organization says without really looking into the evidence necessarily. There is heavy-duty propaganda basically going on, but these gender clinics have sprung up and have multiplied all across the country. The numbers are going up around the world, in the UK, Canada, here, other places. More and more kids are being diagnosed with this, and there's a social contagion component. People, kids going on to YouTube, Tumblr, things like that. So the cases are rising. It's a major problem that we have to address. In my practice as a physician, I always look at side effects of medications before I give anything to anyone. Say for diabetics, I always tell them, if you can work on your diet and exercise first, I'd rather have you do that than take these medications, because there's side effects and there's problems that are potential. But if you need it, then you need to take it. With this, I can see no need to take these medications. I see the risks as being very high, and I see children as a very vulnerable population, can't speak up for themselves, and their parents are often propagandized by this movement. I've met a lot of these parents. My heart goes out to them. I've seen their kids and pictures of their kids, and really, it's about helping kids.
Do not take Belviq if you're pregnant, planning to be, or nursing. Before taking Belviq, tell your doctor if you take medicines for depression, migraines, mental problems, or a cold, as these medicines with Belviq may cause serious or life-threatening side effects. Call your doctor if you have confusion, sweating, fever, or stiff muscles. Some people taking medicines like Belviq have had heart valve problems. Call your doctor if you have trouble breathing, swelling, dizziness, fatigue, or a regular heartbeat. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery until you know how Belviq affects you. High doses may cause mental problems.
Mental health issues affect people of all ages, income levels, and cultures. No one is immune. Advocate for and promote mental well-being in your life and to those around you. You're not alone. The more you know.
Talk to your doctor if you become depressed or have thoughts of suicide. In patients with type 2 diabetes, weight loss may cause low blood sugar. Stop taking Belviq and tell your doctor if you have prolonged erections or your breasts begin to make milk or increase in size. Belviq may decrease blood cell count. Common side effects include headache, dizziness, fatigue, nausea, dry mouth, constipation, back pain, and cough.
All right, we can see it later on, even in movies like Resident Evil. I'm sure you remember the very first movie where we saw this girl in water. There's even a little animation here where she was in the water, her eyes were closed, and all of a sudden she opens her eyes, okay, yet again in the water. And of course, not only does we see water in these tanks, but we also see them in Stargate, in portals, where they're always associated with water. And I think the main reason for that is because we are constantly being shown the waters above, where Satan, the dragon, Leviathan, whatever you want to call him, and his fallen angels, where they reside in the second heaven, which is the waters above. That is what I believe we are being shown here, that the water not only represents the rebirth of humanity, the rebirth of what is coming, or the baptism, the baptism of the dragon, but the second heaven where the devil and his fallen angels are going to come from. Okay, so that's what I believe is being shown here as we go into the scene later on in the trailer, I should say, that we see again this person in black water, and we see the circle imagery. Is this the womb of Isis? Okay, I also found it interesting that the circle also looks like, to me, it looks like the Ouroboros, which symbolizes the forbidden knowledge and rebirth, okay, also symbolizing the Illuminati rebirthing themselves endlessly. That is what their goal is, to keep rebirthing themselves, that they believe that they're going to have an eternal kingdom with the devil. course, you know the Ouroboros is the snake eating its tail, and it all symbolizes many things like time, life, continuity, completion, the repetition of history, the self-sufficiency of nature, the rebirth of the earth. All these kinds of things are symbolized in the Ouroboros, specifically the forbidden knowledge, the rebirth. The Illuminati believes that they can keep rebirthing themselves and they'll always have their eternal kingdom and they'll just never end. All right, again, as we keep going, more duality. The doctor says, let us begin, as the screen fades to black. So what is about to begin? I believe they're talking about the rebirth, the baptism. Okay, major duality, as above, so below. The rebirth of humanity is about to begin. And as we keep going, we'll see yet again more duality, more dual symbolism. To me, this looks like CERN, or reminded me of CERN symmetry imagery. Is the veil about to be broken? It looks like, you know, we're looking into a mirror here. This is, you know, as a train goes by, and these are the windows of the train, but it's totally showing a symmetrical view here of the outside. So is this like looking through the mirror, through the Oculus? I think it's major duality that we're being shown in this movie. As we keep going, we see that this wellness center is in the Swiss Alps, which funny is that isn't CERN also located in Switzerland? Because of the Swiss Alps are in Switzerland, definitely we know that CERN is there as well. So not only that, but is this castle in the Alps, is this code for the elite establishment behind all these things? Because we know how lavishly they live in their lifestyles. So is this castle also symbolizing, you know, the elite that are behind this kind of thing? All right, so I think we got to be paying attention to what is going on here. And as we keep going here, let's see, we'll go to the next scene as well. And you'll see, I found this quite fascinating, and I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'll try to break it down as best I can. First, I noticed that there are the two leaders of this, you know, people in this pool here. They're standing between two pillars, and to me, it looked very similar to something like this: the pillars of Freemasonry, things that you see in the Masonic Temple, all this kind of stuff. You've got them standing between the two pillars. They're holding these two balls, the same kind of thing. Oh, sorry about that. The same kind of thing that we are being shown in the Masonic pillars, the two balls. Okay, so I believe it could be symbolizing the earth, and who knows what else it could be symbolizing. Okay, but here they are holding these two things. They've got the clock, which I believe is Chronos, above them. Again, to me, showing that this is Lucifer, the eye of Lucifer, Chronos, whatever you want to call him, Baphomet, devil, Satan, the dragon. Okay, in the middle, that is who they worship. This G, whom they worship, is Satan. And
right now, your body's thirsty for more than water.
You're working your body till you can't do more. Gatorade is thirsty, so give your body what it's thirsty for. Gatorade is thirsty, for that deep down body thirst.
When you exercise, you lose potassium, fluids, minerals. Gatorade helps put them back fast. It's no ordinary thirst quencher.
Gatorade is thirsty, for that deep down body thirst.
Do you think? You sacrificed like a mother. You pushed through the pain like a mother. You got back to work like a mother. You gave 100% without any sleep like a mother. You grew stronger like a mother. You found an extra gear like a mother. You battled. You showed them you never lost it. You created greatness. Like a mother.
Yes, Olympia, your dreams can come true too.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O? There's a cross. Okay. What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. VFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for? That's the F word. Big can. In fact, they write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word. Okay. Now, do you know what a MILF is? Yes. That's on the box. MILFs dig it, and you will too. This is not a Christian company at all. So why would they have put a cross on the can? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement. You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan. And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down, bottoms up, and the devil laughs. Something to think about. Wow. This is how clever Satan is and how he gets into the Christian home and a Christian's life, and it breaks God's heart. Jesus said, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
BS is a different type of hormone that for some may increase potassium too much. So don't take BS if you have kidney, liver, or adrenal disease, because this could cause serious heart and health problems. Tell your doctor if you're on daily long-term treatment for chronic conditions like cardiovascular or inflammatory diseases. Serious risks include blood clots, stroke, and heart attack. Smoking increases these risks, especially if you're over 35, so don't smoke on BS. Don't take the pill if you've had any of these conditions, certain cancers, or could be pregnant. The pill does not protect against HIV or STDs.
Lucifer, the dragon, that is who they are worshiping. I believe the two balls represent the sun and moon that they are holding up. I also find it interesting that, of course, they're between the two pillars. We've got even the 1111 showing here, the symbol of destruction. We've also got the red and green Christmas color imagery, which to me is code for paganism. Okay, red and green symbolizes the male and female fertility. Even as we look at the pagan background of Christmas, we'll see that the red and green, here it is, the traditional colors of red and green being contemporary colors, complementary colors, represent male and female fertility and incubation. Pagan decorations can pagan decorations still seen around Christmas include red berries and green leaves of holly, mistletoe, and wreaths. Okay, so this is all, Christmas really, if you dig into Christmas, it is pagan. It is not about Christ at all. They are celebrating the ritual sex magic, the rebirth of Nimrod, of Tammuz, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so the male and green symbolize the male and female, the fertility, okay, sex ritual magic. And interesting that these people are in water like a birthing class, and it is to me representing the rebirth of Tammuz or Nimrod, whatever you want to call it, the dragon, Lucifer, the Antichrist, whatever. That is what I believe we are being shown here. Okay, so very in your face, and I believe, that so much is just being communicated to us. And as we keep going in the next scene, we'll see, you know, that song that was quite a classic song back in the 80s, and the song starts singing very slowly, 24 hours ago, I want to be sedated. Now, if you look at those numbers, 20 plus 20 plus 24 equals to 64. If you break down the 6 and the 4, it equals to 10. And of course, 10 is X in Roman numerals, which to me is the mark of the beast or the cross of Tammuz. That is exactly what I believe we're being shown here. And I presented this article before about the cross being actually a symbol of Tammuz that has nothing to do with Christ. And, you know, I'll leave that article for you to read for yourself, but I believe the X represents the mark of the beast or the cross of Tammuz. And as we look at this scene here, many people are being sedated, or are they being basically changed by receiving the mark of the beast? That is what we're being shown here. Okay, we've also got 5 people here. This one is being rolled in as you watch the scene, so is that showing the 5th age that is about to begin? All right, so could be what we're being shown here, and I think, you know, the transformation of humanity is really what the goal is. We see another scene of, you know, black and white duality, as above, so below. We've got 6 women in this tank and 1 man, which equals to 7. Is that code for phase 7 of the New World Order, the final phase of the New World Order that is coming? You know, that remains to be seen. We will see, you know, what is going to come very soon. As we keep going here, we will see another interesting scene of coming out of the bathtub. Is this depicting the satanic baptism? Okay, the rebirth of humanity. Is that what is about to occur here? We see this hand coming out of the bathtub. You know, we constantly see this kind of imagery, just as we saw Katy Perry and the whole rising, you know, out of the rising out of the water, the baptism. I believe that is what we're being shown here, that the baptism or the rebirth of humanity is coming very soon. Later on, we see these people which are seemingly trying to escape, but they look heavily drugged. So are they trying to get out of here? Even the clothing is similar to movies like Hunger Games. So to me, depicting that, you know, humanity being basically reduced to abject poverty, okay, which is again is a plan of the New World Order, that, you know, the 17 global goals of sustainable development. They want to basically, you know, reduce humanity to really having nothing. I found this scene quite interesting as well. It's a, you know, a crossword puzzle. You got words like wedding and fire, cure, bodies. You know, is there some kind of coded message in this crossword? And, you know, obviously I don't have time to, you know, try and figure what every one of these words mean, but I would be curious as to what you see in this crossword. So please do let me know. Another thing I found really interesting is this scene of a blue bottle and something being poured into it, which is most likely some kind of drug or whatever they use to sedate these people. But the blue bottle could be code for being trapped in the cube of Saturn. And the reason why I think the blue represents the cube of Saturn is I remember reading an article on Prince William and Kate Middleton and the ring that was given to her. And it says that her ring, the blue sapphire engagement ring, his mother Diana had on her engagement, but the blue sapphire is the gemstone of the planet Saturn. Okay, so in the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, Fritz Springmeier writes of Saturn. Saturn is an important key to understand the long heritage this conspiracy has back to antiquity. The city of Rome was originally known as Saturnia, or City of Saturn. The Roman Catholic Church retains much of the Saturn worship in its ritual. Okay, so Saturn also relates to Lucifer. All right, so we can see that this blue sapphire, or this blue color to me, could be code for Saturn, okay, or being trapped in the cube of Saturn.
Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any allergic reactions like rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away.
One ingredient in Contrave may increase suicidal thoughts or actions in some children, teens, and young adults in the first few months. Serious side effects are mood changes like depression and mania, seizures, increased blood pressure or heart rate, liver damage, glaucoma, allergic reactions, and hypoglycemia. Not for patients with uncontrolled blood pressure, seizure history, anorexia, bulimia, drug or alcohol withdrawal, on bupropion, opioids, MAOIs, allergy to the ingredients, or pregnant. May cause nausea, constipation, headache, and vomiting.
And as we keep going here, we'll see that basically this is all Illuminati behind it. You can see the black and white checkerboard floor. which is basically Masonic temple imagery. We can see these people that are dancing basically in a circular pattern, all right, which could be symbolizing the womb of Isis. Okay, usually the circle depicts that, the womb of Isis, the satanic circle, whatever you want to call it. They are preparing for something big because the rebirth, as what they want, is coming very soon. All right, and as we keep going in this trailer, we see more water imagery. There's another satanic baptism, you know, being trapped in the water, being trapped in the blue, in the cube of Saturn. We'll keep going, and this is now it gets even more interesting where, you know, this person also who is in the water, I think that we saw at the beginning, what is in there with him? It is a serpent. You'll see this thing come slinking out, come swimming out towards him. You know, it's funny that this is the same place where the dragon dwells, okay? He dwells in the waters above. We saw that already when we looked at the picture of the firmament and, you know, the true, to me, the biblical model of the earth, where Satan, the dragon, dwells, okay, in the second heaven, in the waters above. So it's quite interesting that we're being, you know, shown this kind of thing now, where this serpent is coming swimming towards this person who is in the water. Okay, the dragon, he dwells in the waters above, along with his fallen angels. And, you know, the next scene also goes to someone drawing a picture of everything about to burn. Okay, that's what I think is happening here. He shows this place on fire. And interestingly enough, the very next scene is just that. We see, it looks like the wellness center is being set on fire. Is this showing us that the destruction of the world is at hand? You know, we've heard many lines in other movies of how they have to destroy the old world in order to bring about the new world. That was a line that Robert Redford had said in Captain America 2. And, you know, seemingly he was a good guy, but he turned out to be the bad guy. Later on in the trailer, we see, you know, looks to me the world in chaos after the destruction. Is this symbolizing people of the world crying out for help? As, you know, if so much of destruction is taking place, what is going to happen with the people?
Crestor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease. And women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you're taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as that may be a sign of serious side effects.
Tell your doctor right away if your depression worsens, you have unusual changes in behavior, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Cymbalta is not approved for children under 18. People taking MAOIs or thyroidazine or with uncontrolled glaucoma should not take Cymbalta. Taking it with NSAID pain relievers, aspirin, or blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Severe liver problems, some fatal, were reported. Signs include abdominal pain and yellowing of the skin or eyes. Talk with your doctor about your medicines, including those for migraine, or if you have high fever, confusion, and stiff muscles, to address a possible life-threatening condition. Tell your doctor about alcohol use, liver disease, and before you reduce or stop taking Cymbalta. Dizziness or fainting may occur upon standing. Side effects include nausea, dry mouth, and constipation.
Then as we keep going, we see that this wellness center is equipped with white witches. We see them coming out in a procession. They're all over the place. I believe this movie is promoting witchcraft, and, you know, white witches use white magic for healing. All right, as we look into what this is all about, we see that, you know, the same symbolism is shown in many different places, these white witches, and people think that, you know, white magic is a good thing and for healing, but I found an article from this place, and it talks about, you know, how white magic is, you know, they want to shed some light on it, where white magic believes the mystical strength of the elements and eliminating any negativity that is surrounding you without causing harm or injury to others. Its magic power holds the power to heal, protect, and bless. So what are they trying to say to us? That, oh, in this wellness center, these white witches are being used to bring healing. I really doubt that, because you're not going to get any healing from a white witch, because later on in the scene, or in the trailer, you'll see that this person basically is committing suicide. So I guess the witches, or the white witches using their white magic, really doesn't heal anyone. In fact, it causes them to either kill themselves or do something that is, you know, horrible to them, which is what the devil wants. He doesn't want to heal you. He wants to destroy you. Okay, that is what I believe is being shown here, and, you know, this white magic is not going to do anything for you. As we keep going in this trailer, we'll see a person, yet again, a girl trapped, to me, in the blue bottle of Saturn. Again, you're being trapped in the water, in this supposed cure, in the baptism, in the cube of Saturn. This woman, I believe, is being trapped.
I'm just a little black cube of darkness, a little black cube.
Good morning. Need a hand?
Wander! That is the black cube of darkness! We gotta get out of here before he sucks out our souls!
Aw, Sil, it never hurts to help.
Do you know how often you say that immediately before we actually get hurt?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hey there, friend. Yeah, you. Having a rough day? Been there. But take it from me, a bad attitude only makes it rougher. Learn to let go of anger and you won't have to suffer. It's a beautiful day! Listen to the birds sing, look at the sunshine. Let them be your guide and you'll be feeling fine. That's the spirit!
Taking a positive attitude now won't let them drag it down. Folks start to panic, I won't get all mad, cause I'm floating 4 feet off the ground. My contours are sleek, my surface is shiny, nothing gets in my way. My upbeat composure's gonna help me find closure. What a wonderful day, I'm a little black cube of sunshine. Black cube of sunshine. Black cube of sunshine. A little black cube, he's a little black cube.
Look at this joker. He's all like, oh, good day to you, sir. I am a shape. What a square!
It's funny because he's different from us.
Oh, my stars and garters.
Oh, why, thank you so much. What a polite young...
It's the villainous black cube of darkness! He's come to steal my soul!
Don't stop taking Eliquis unless your doctor tells you to, as stopping increases your risk of having a stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. While taking Eliquis, you may bruise more easily, and it may take longer than usual for any bleeding to stop. Seek immediate medical care for sudden signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Eliquis may increase your bleeding risk if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures.
And as we keep going, even more so, we'll see that person who we saw one snake before, now he is surrounded by snakes all over the place. I believe this is symbolizing the baptism of the dragon, of the devil, okay, being baptized by the serpent. And it's a mockery to me of the baptism of the Holy Spirit, of the baptism that Christ gives us. You know, is this the cure for wellness? Because really, if you're well, you don't need a cure. But see, the devil wants to bring people into bondage, into destruction. He wants to keep people hooked on drugs. He wants to keep people hooked on whatever addictions that they have. So really, the baptism of the dragon is to get you from being well. He wants to make you sick. He doesn't want to make you well, which is what I believe this movie is even all about. It's called A Cure for Wellness. You know, when you think about that title, you don't need a cure for wellness, because if you're well, you are not sick, you are fine. And if we have Christ, you are definitely fine, but the devil wants to take people away from that. And so as we keep going, we'll see that more people are being enslaved by the serpent's baptism. This is definitely not the baptism of Christ. This is the baptism of the devil. And, you know, again, it is a mockery of what Christ told us in Mark 16. Well, he talks about the Great Commission to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He who believes and is baptized will be saved, but he who does not believe will be condemned. And in the Complete Jewish Bible, that same verse says, whoever trusts and is immersed will be saved. Whoever does not trust will be condemned. So immersed could be being immersed in water, the baptism, being immersed in the gospel, being immersed in the work of Christ. And, you know, the devil wants to take us away from that. He wants us to be immersed in his nonsense. He wants us to be immersed in his baptism, in the world, in our addictions, in any bondage, in our human weakness. He doesn't want us to be with Christ. He wants us to be baptized into his world. He wants to change us and transform us into the image of the beast. And that is what I believe we are being shown in this movie. He wants to trap us in the cube of Saturn.
Women who are pregnant must not take Entresto. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren. If you've had angioedema while taking an ACE or ARB medicine, don't take Entresto. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high potassium in your blood.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Latuda is not for everyone. Call your doctor if you have unusual changes in mood, behaviors, or thoughts of suicide. Antidepressants can increase these in children, teens, and young adults. Elderly dementia patients taking Latuda have an increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor if you have fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, as these may be signs of a life-threatening reaction, or if you have uncontrollable muscle movements, as these may become permanent. High blood sugar has been reported with Latuda and medicines like it, and in some cases, extreme high blood sugar can lead to coma or death. Other risks include decreases in white blood cells, which can be fatal, dizziness upon standing, seizures, increased cholesterol, weight gain, increased prolactin levels, impairment in judgment, or trouble swallowing. Avoid grapefruit and grapefruit juice while taking Latuda. Use caution before driving or operating machinery.
And I believe that this is all a mockery of the baptism of Christ, because he came. We know that Christ allowed John the Baptist to baptize him, to symbolize that he was about to go into ministry, that he was being empowered by God his Father to anoint him for ministry, to be baptized and filled with the Spirit. And this is a mockery of what is of the true baptism. All right, Satan wants you to be baptized in his satanic devil baptism, to be for you to stay in your vices, to stay in your addictions, to stay dead, to stay asleep, and to be also transformed into the image of the beast.
It's not for everyone. Tell your doctor right away about any serious allergic reaction that causes swelling or affects breathing or skin, or changes in eyesight, including blurry vision or muscle pain with fever or tired feeling. Some of the most common side effects of Lyrica are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands and feet. Do not drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. You should not drive or operate machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you.
Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to Neulasta or Neupogen. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal, as well as serious lung problems and allergic reactions have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
Don't use Onextin if you have Crohn's disease or colitis, inflammation of the colon, or had colitis or severe diarrhea with past antibiotic use. Stop use if you develop severe watery or bloody diarrhea or severe abdominal cramps, as these may be fatal. Do not use if allergic to clindamycin, benzoyl peroxide, lincomycin, or any of the ingredients in Onextin. Stop use and call your doctor if you have an allergic reaction, as this can be serious. The most common side effect is skin irritation, especially if used with other acne products. Stop use and call your doctor if you have a rash or very red, burning, itchy, or swollen skin. Limit your time in the sun. Avoid tanning beds and sun lamps.
And to enslave you. That is what the devil wants. But in Christ we have freedom. And you know, this cure for wellness is anything but, because this person, again, we see this person trapped in the cube, in the blue water. I believe, again, symbolizing being trapped in the cube of Saturn. And you know, the devil wants this for all of humanity. This is what I believe we are being shown here.
Which one's for the TV?
Try this, boss. It's Amazon Fire TV Cube with Alexa voice control. It has all your favorite TV shows, movies, and even YouTube. It's easy. Alexa, turn on the TV.
Fantastic. Alexa, play the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Have your first nervous breakdown.
Whoopsie.
Before time began, there was the Cube.
The Memorial Cube was given to the college by friends and family of a student, Dini Leib Uland, who died in 1972, and that's the date of the sculpture. Over the years, I've seen students come by this work and interact with it. Indeed, it can spin on its axis, and students have had a great deal of fun with it. And indeed, the work does invite this kind of play and interaction. Now, Tony Rosenthal is a very well-known sculptor, and his works are in collections across the country. This work is closely related to the most famous work that Rosenthal did, and that is his Astor Place Cube, which is titled Alamo, but everybody calls it Astor Place Cube. This is in the East Village in New York, and it too spins on its axis. So this is sort of the little sister, done 4 years later and done at a half scale of the New York work.
What you're about to see is totally classified.
Dear God, what is this?
And, you know, again, funny how the poster for this movie is a female, a girl, trapped in this blue bottle, which again, I believe symbolizes Saturn.
At this point of the show, the host would do something fun and spontaneous to show how we're all just ordinary people, like ordering pizza for everyone.
But since we already get food at the Globes, we thought we'd mix it up and try something new. So roll up your sleeves, Hollywood, because you're all getting flu shots! You know you wore a sleeveless gown for a reason.
Hey, shot, 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 shot. Excuse me, ma'am, you're definitely going to want to get Defoe. Great.
These nurses are all licensed professionals straight from the Rite Aid in Echo Park.
And look, if you're an anti-vaxxer, just put a napkin over your head and we'll skip you.
FINA is not for everyone and may increase your risk for uterine cancer, strokes, or blood clots, and should not be used in women with these conditions or any of the following: unusual vaginal bleeding, heart attacks, severe liver problems, pregnancy, or breast cancer, as it wasn't studied. So talk to your doctor regularly about continuing Osfina. Call your doctor right away if you have unusual vaginal bleeding, changes in vision or speech, sudden severe headache, leg or chest pain, or shortness of breath. Side effects may include hot flashes, increased sweating, muscle spasms, and vaginal discharge. Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha may cause allergic reactions. Signs include redness, severe rash or itching, swollen face, or trouble breathing. The most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
Are you aware that from 2004 to 2014, 0 people in the U.S. died from contracting measles, according to the CDC? During the same time, 108 people died from the MMR vaccine, according to the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. Are you aware that a 2011 study conducted by the Ottawa Hospital Research Institute found that 1 in 168 babies had emergency room visits within 4 to 12 days after their 12-month MMR vaccination, and that several children died during the study? The number of deaths was not disclosed. 1 in 168 is a lot higher than the 1 in a million vaccine injury risk that parents are told about, isn't it? Are you aware the CDC holds 50 patents on vaccines and sells $5 billion a year worth of vaccines? Are you aware that Merck's package insert on the MMR vaccine lists death as only one of dozens of possible side effects? Have any of you read a vaccine insert? Are you aware that the U.S. Congress has ruled vaccines are unavoidably unsafe? Are you aware that vaccine safety studies are almost always conducted by the vaccine manufacturers, and that none of the vaccines on the childhood schedule were tested against the true inert placebo? They were tested against an older vaccine or an adjuvant such as aluminum. Are you aware that pharmaceutical drugs under the FDA are safety tested for an average of 4.5 years prior to licensing? Vaccines are tested on average for 4.5 days prior to licensing. 4.5 days versus 4.5 years. Are you aware that a Harvard Pilgrim Hospital study funded by Health and Human Services in the U.S. revealed that less than 1% of vaccine injuries are reported? This means that more than 99% of vaccine adverse reactions are not reported or acknowledged. Are you aware that the U.S. Vaccine Injury Compensation Program has paid out more than $4 billion due to vaccine injury and death? Are you aware that Canada is the only G7 nation without a vaccine injury compensation program? The CDC uses Institute of Medicine reports to support their claim that vaccines do not cause autism. IOM's 2011 report on autism concludes, quote, "The evidence is inadequate to accept or reject a causal relationship between diphtheria toxoid, tetanus toxoid, and acellular pertussis containing vaccines and autism," end quote. Institute of Medicine's 2011 safety report reviewed varicella, tetanus, hepatitis B, and MMR vaccines. 155 health conditions were studied. In 134 cases out of 155, the literature was inadequate to accept or reject causation. Does this sound like the science is settled to you? If you are not aware of these facts, then you have no business imposing this poorly tested medical procedure on Ontario's children. And if you are aware, then you are participating in medical and scientific fraud. The vast majority of parents of vaccine-injured or killed children now know the truth. They know the science is inadequate to support claims that vaccines are safe. See paragraph above. You will not silence these parents through censorship, shaming, mandates, and manipulation. Until Health Canada authorizes an independent long-term study of vaccinated versus unvaccinated, you are wasting everyone's time. No amount of pressure from Health Canada, Public Health, the Toronto Board of Health, or the corporate control media will ever convince us otherwise. Our trust has been broken. In a 2018 Globe and Mail opinion piece, Neil Rao and Richard Shabazz said this: "The borderline hysteria fueled by the media and public health that greets a few cases of measles is unwarranted." Mr. Rao is a respected immunologist on the staff of University of Toronto. Dr. Shabazz recently held the post of Chief Medical Officer of Health for Ontario. Perhaps you should listen to one of your own. Congress was blackmailed into drafting the NCVIA in 1986. Does everyone know what that is? Just in case. National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act. Vaccine manufacturers were losing multiple big money lawsuits surrounding injury and death of their products. They demanded Congress pass a law to give them legal immunity. In doing so, Congress said you must do safety studies annually and you must report to Congress every 2 years. In a 2018 lawsuit, it was proven that HHS did neither of those things. No studies and no reports to Congress for 30 years. Your science has settled one-size-fits-all agenda intended to lead all citizens down the path of compulsory vaccination is in direct violation of the Ontario Healthcare Consent Act, the Universal Declaration of Bioethics and Human Rights, the Nuremberg Code, and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in the Canadian Constitution, as supported by a Health Canada statement. This is Canada. It is not Salem, Massachusetts, 1692. It is not Berlin, 1939. This will not stand. Thank you for your time.
Runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
Don't use Premarin vaginal cream if you've had unusual bleeding, breast or uterine cancer, blood clots, liver problems, stroke, or heart attack, are allergic to any of its ingredients, or think you're pregnant. Side effects may include headache, pelvic pain, breast pain, vaginal bleeding, and vaginitis. Estrogens may increase your chances of getting cancer of the uterus, strokes, blood clots, or dementia, so use it for the shortest time based on goals and risks. Estrogen should not be used to prevent heart disease, heart attack, stroke, or dementia.
If your eyes go bad, you can have LASIK surgery and they can give you 20/20 vision at any age. If your hearing starts to fail, they could put a device in your ear that'll make you able to hear as good as you could the day you were born. But let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
Hey, Phoebe, this is it. In this briefcase, I carry actual scientific facts. A briefcase of facts, if you will. Some of these fossils are over 200 million years old.
Okay, look, before you even start, I'm not denying evolution, okay? I'm just saying that it's one of the possibilities.
It's the only possibility, Phoebe.
Okay. Ross, could you just open your mind like this much? Okay? Now, wasn't there a time when the brightest minds in the world believed that the Earth was flat? And up until, like, what, 50 years ago, you all thought the atom was the smallest thing until you split it open and this, like, whole mess of crap came out. Now, are you telling me that you are so unbelievably arrogant that you can't admit that there's a teeny tiny possibility that you could be wrong about this?
There might be.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
Do not take Intermezzo if you have had an allergic reaction to drugs containing zolpidem, such as Ambien. Allergic reactions such as shortness of breath or swelling of your tongue or throat may occur and may be fatal. Intermezzo should not be taken if you have taken another sleep medicine at bedtime or in the middle of the night, or drank alcohol that day. Do not drive or operate machinery until at least 4 hours after taking Intermezzo when you're fully awake. Driving, eating, or engaging in other activities while not fully awake without remembering the event the next day have been reported. Abnormal behaviors may include aggressiveness, agitation, hallucinations, or confusion. Alcohol or taking other medicines that make you sleepy may increase these risks. In depressed patients, worsening of depression, including risk of suicide, may occur. Intermezzo, like most sleep medicines, has some risk of dependency. Common side effects are headache, nausea, and fatigue.
Only your doctor can diagnose social anxiety disorder. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking MAOIs or Pimozide should not take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness.
We have the mightiest military in the long history of humankind. We have the best and most devoted workers ever to walk the face of the earth. And now we're combining all of these amazing strengths for the most aggressive vaccine project in history. There's never been a vaccine project anywhere in history like this. And I just want to make something clear. It's very important. Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. And we're starting the process. And in many cases, they don't have vaccines. And a virus or a flu comes, and you fight through it. We haven't seen anything like this in 100 and some odd years, 1917. But you fight through it, and people sometimes, I guess, we don't know exactly yet, but it looks like they become immune, or at least for a short while and maybe for life.
You shiver and twitch, 'cause you need a fix. And the more that you do, the deeper you get. But you're not alone. The devil has a hold of so many people who are in the same boat. You're under the influence of a seductive spirit, and you are the generation that God told us was sure to come. Troubled souls give up, imprisoned by substance. Hope and love get crushed by the chemicals in pharmacia. There is a void in everyone's life, and it is insistence to be satisfied. The question is, what truly fulfills, and what incarcerates intending to kill. You're under the influence of a subductive spirit, and you are the generation that God told us was sure to come. Troubled souls give up, imprisoned by substance. Hope and love get crushed by the chemicals in pharmacia. Jesus will strengthen us. Through His blood we can overcome. But it's no walk in the park when you are swimming with sharks. No, it won't be smooth sailing. Sometimes you'll feel capsized. So be sure that your heart is secured real tight, and you'll slay the Hydra in pharmacia. No, it won't be smooth sailing, and sometimes you'll feel capsized. So be sure that your heart is secured real tight, and you'll slay the Hydra in pharmacia.
This is not fear-mongering. This is a warning. This is, even the Lord God, He sends His prophets to warn people. And of course, I do not claim to be a prophet. I just claim to be a watchman and to let you know that definitely what I see coming is destruction of this world. The judgment is coming, and you need to give your life to Jesus today, because if you don't, you do not know whether you're going to be here today or gone tomorrow. We have no idea. But all we know is that we are being telegraphed on a regular basis that the end is coming very soon. The plans of the Illuminati are going to come to fruition, which is all prophesied in the Bible.
My dear girl, it's gotten worse than you'd think. Your brother, he's been by, he's had his cry with me at the sink. Nothing's worse.
We will emerge onto a cleansed earth, one that we can then reboot in our image.
And just how do you intend to achieve this?
The means of our salvation are already at hand. I give to you the T-virus.
Here, at least deliberately.
So quick to tell you that you're grown. Only I can say that for me. I know soul you may be, but in my bones suck the trauma dry of meaning. So quick you're with us and then you're gone. Dismiss the sadness and grief. I grew up when I felt your pulse. Grew up when I held your dead body. So quick you're with us and then we're grown. Dismiss the panic and breathe. I grew up when I heard your voice. Grew up when you said you won't leave.
Now look at what they're bringing into this sea of cells, a virus.
Kids, it's time for me to cross over the stream to the other side where I'll
Now watch this. The virus. There's the Hydra. There's the black Hydra.
So quick to tell you that you're grown. Only I can say that for me. I know soul you may be, but in my bones suck a trauma dry of meaning. So quick you're with us and then you're gone.
Fueled by the media, fear and panic spread quickly, fracturing and dividing the country until at last the true goal comes into view. Imagine a virus, the most terrifying virus you can, and then imagine that you and you alone have the cure. But if your ultimate goal is power, how best to use such a weapon?
They're using this orchestrated ruse to convince the public to accept Big Brother-type controls. And then they will intentionally reduce the mass of the world's population. Mass genocide on a scale never seen before. There are a mass of ways they could introduce population slaughter. More staged events, orchestrated and maneuvered conflicts, and the use of bioengineered diseases. Vaccines. It could come in vaccines. It'll be done in a barbaric fashion using draconian methods, and this global holocaust will probably come out from under the flag of the UN.
I can almost imagine us being frog-marched away from our homes in a martial law kind of way.
He created a flu that sparked the demand for a vaccine that doesn't work. After everyone in the country is vaccinated...
And the world?
He'll have murdered millions.
Nope, you don't have it.
We need to go. Now, before that vaccine ships and more people die.
Your father created a world-changing, not world-ending, a world-changing, world-improving omnivirus. And we have taken that virus and embedded it in the vaccine of the Stearns flu.
I knew it. I knew it. He created a panic, and now everybody's begging for the vaccine.
No. Demanding it with all the entitlement of a first-world country. Yes. And now we have exactly what we want. Hundreds of millions of Americans lining up, offering us their arms, and letting us give them our creation.
I'm pretty sure when every vaccinated person starts dying, they'll trace it back to undetectable virus or not.
What we are doing is far bigger than death.
Wait, this virus is not deadly.
It looks pretty damn deadly.
Tell me this. What have you done today to earn your place in this crowded world? We intend to stop human reproduction for 3 generations. The busy, endless global assembly line of babies will grind to a halt. You're sterilizing people? Huh? In the first 5 years, we'll start to see major birth rate declines as teenagers vaccinated today hit their childbearing years.
You're controlling the future of human civilization.
Is that what they're calling it?
This German magazine bringing a gift of the COVID-19 vaccine to the Christ child. Just absolute shameless propaganda for the vaccine. In German it says, an act of charity, vaccinate.
There is a new variant of COVID-19, Omicron, which is highly infectious and spreading fast. Get your COVID-19 booster vaccine to strengthen your protection. Please get boosted now.
Getting vaccinated is a civic duty.
Please get boosted now.
We just don't know the long-term side effects of basically modifying people's DNA and RNA.
vaccinate.
Ultimately, the mRNA vaccines are an example for that cell and gene therapy. I always like to say, if we had surveyed 2 years ago in the public, would you be willing to take gene or cell therapy and inject it into your body, we would have probably had a 95% refusal rate. I think this pandemic has also opened many people's eyes to innovation in the way that was maybe not possible before.
One of the biggest things for me in seeing this in Seattle was how the needle, yes, the needle, was piercing through a strand of DNA. Could this be to do with mRNA? You know, the technology, the needle piercing through the strand of DNA? Could this be to do with DNA manipulation?
We're really taking that leap in gene therapy.
Why must they look so fearful? I'm only trying to save your life. Feels like 700 years I've been alive. Stick it up, roaming the streets and said